Hello everyone, welcome to the channel today. So a very special reading today because not only is it a super full moon in Pisces, but it's also a blue moon, which just means that in the same calendar month we've had two full moons. So we're going to pick some piles today to see what this particular super blue full moon has in store for you. So we're picking with these cards here. I've already got some little crystals down. I'll bring them closer and hopefully you'll be able to see. Okay, so we've got pile 1. Here's pile 2. Pile 3. Okay, and pile 4. Alright, so let's take a look at your cards. So before I start with the cards, I'll show you the crystals. So they're just little. This is a blue lace agate. So it's very, very subtle blue. For pile 2, you have the Adventurine. This is a very clear one with just small bits of green in it. For pile 3, this is known as a phantom amethyst, so it's very translucent. Okay. And for pile 4, you have the Sodalite. Okay. So let's take a look at your cards. For pile 1, you have the Pisces card with psychic, intuitive, and dreamy. For pile number 2, you have the first house with body, self, and presence. For pile number 3, you have the waxing gibbous moon with nurturing, patience, and refinement. Okay. And for pile number 4, you have the moon void, of course, with disconnect, withdrawal, and reception. Alright, so here are your piles for today. I'll leave these here. You can go down to the description to jump straight to your video. I will be doing the shuffling process next if you want to stick around and listen to that. Otherwise, take care. I'll give you some time to ruminate on which pile or piles you are called to. And I'll see you in your reading. Hello everyone, welcome to the shuffling process of the video. So really interesting that we pulled the Pisces card coming out for a Pisces super full moon, right? What are the odds? So I have a placement in Pisces, which is my moon. I believe also maybe Jupiter. I think it's another planet. So kind of like a big one for me because also my sun sign is in Virgo and we're currently in Virgo. I was also born on a Pisces full moon. So it is, you know, super interesting. It's kind of like a rare event. Alright, so what does the full moon have in store for you? Keep shuffling. There we go. Make some space. Okay, there we go. Well, Pisces is always known as a dreamer, and then being in the sun of Virgo is kind of like the opposite, right? So it's an interesting one. It's like opposite energy, but also lots of It's just a lot of like contrasts, I guess is the best way to put it. So today we're using a few of the more bluer looking decks, or like, I mean, a lot of my cards generally do have the backs that are blue, hence the name, but I didn't necessarily choose them because they had blue backings. It's just how it kind of turned out. We do have the Gateway of Light activation, the Water Temple Oracle, and Sacred Destiny. And these ones here are the Mystic, what are they called? Saints and Mystics. Okay. And then for the tarot cards, we have the, where's this one? Keepers of the Night? Nope. Guardians of the Night. Guardians of the Night and Unveiling the Golden Age Tarot. Really, really interesting cards for both. I always feel like these ones have a little bit of Oracle in them as well, just because they're generally all animals and they have their own stories, right? The person who's chosen them has had a depiction idea and has taken it more in their own personal way, you know, ideals instead of sticking with tradition, which is always kind of interesting. You never know how it's going to look or work out or anything like that. And I've still got these ones. I'm just going to put them on top because they're a bit small and I don't want them getting flipped over. Okay. Now these have all been shuffled beforehand, so they are ready. I shuffled them before to get an idea of what puts the energy, I guess, and the intention of the reading that's coming up. Really does actually help with the card readings. And this one, yeah. Okay, and I'm going to grab 2 of these, so we're going to end up with about 3. Okay. This one then. I'm going to take these 3 actually with that one. Not sure if I have space, but we'll make do. Alright. So here are your piles for today. So we have pile 1 with the Pisces card and the blue lace agate. Pile 2 with the first house and the Adventurine. Pile 3 with the waxing gibbous moon and the phantom amethyst. And lastly, the moon void of course with the sodalite. Oops, a bit wonky. Alright, so take your time. I'll leave these here and I'll see you in your reading. Welcome to your reading, pile number 1. So you've chosen Pisces. Probably quite popular, right, since it is the Pisces full moon. So Pisces has the message of psychic, intuitive, and dreamy. We also have this blue lace again, and as you can see, it's a very, very pale one. It's pretty much white. Even on this end, it's just like very subtle tinge of blue. Maybe the camera doesn't pick it all up. But it is very white, and this is kind of feeling more of like the harmony, joy, protective kind of energy of this. And with the Pisces card coming through, it does feel like maybe even initiating on your dreams, clearing old dreams, because full moons are about clearing generally, but they also, you know, you clear things to bring in what is most important. And being a super full moon and like a blue moon, like it's just like a very, it feels like high energy or big energy. So we'll leave that up here. So I just separated these because I wanted to not lose them. So I'll put your tarot over here. So we'll start with your other Astro cards. So you have the Sun with life, vitality, and purpose. Kind of interesting because I was looking it up today when the full moon would be in Australia, and it's going to be different times everywhere, but it's around midday Australia that the peak of the full moon is happening, so I probably won't be able to necessarily see it from my end. I don't know where, around the globe it will be, but regardless, it's going to be an interesting one because it's like in the peak of the day, like for where I am. But this has life, vitality, and purpose. So definitely shining a light on your... It does feel like dreams, like your prospects, I guess. Because we want to plan for the future, but how we get there is how we get there, right? How things show up is how they show up. We can have a directional guide, but we can't control everything that happens. And if you try to, it's very challenging because you're kind of worrying about how things might turn out instead of just enjoying the path, I guess, is really how it feels. You also have Scorpio coming through, so you've got 2 star signs coming through zodiac. So you've got here with deep, intense, and transformative. Yeah, this feels like a big time. The sun is huge as well, right? It's our closest, brightest, or I guess closest star. So it's the one that really gives us the energy of our to our planet. We utilize that. The plants utilize that. Everyone needs the sun for sure, for so much more than just warmth. Okay, so big energy, both water signs as well. Maybe it's an emotional release. I'm wondering if you've been having dreams coming up to this full moon that have been a bit wild. I'd suggest, especially with Scorpio, because there's just that transformative aspect and deep and intense, like it's could be triggering, right? Maybe there is signs, symbols, or even just some kind of message within your dreams. If you have been writing them down, it might pay to like review them on even like near or now or whenever, but close to the full moon, because it's just there is that intense energy that there might be some kind of like hidden message or something in there that's just interesting. Even if you reread it, and then it might trigger the memory of that dream, if that makes sense. Something in there, I just feel that. It's bringing back purpose for sure with the sun coming through. Kind of reminds me of like the sun in tarot with happiness and a child. It's like reawakening. Okay. So you've got St. Francis with healing. Okay. Definitely, again, shining through with what this is about. For some of you, deep and intense. Could be a time to release a lot of the old. Feels very natural with the animals here. Okay. Also have fulfillment. I really like this. It's really talking to exactly what this is about. There's a release to bring in like even some old dreams, right? We might have had like we thought we were going on a particular path, may have turned, and now we're like, do we go back to that? Is that actually still important to me? Or maybe is this better? We can release those or even just put them aside until something else changes and we might want to go back to it. But if we're not called to it now, we've got to work towards what's fulfilling. Also another moon here. I feel like this is like a moon. It's not a moon, it's like the halo kind of light effect, I guess, that they usually have in religious paintings. But it's just reminding me of like a moon very close down. And then we've got a moon here. So it's uncovering, like it's definitely diving deep, going within really deep. I'll try to get through the cards before I start reading it too much. But that's kind of the energy I'm getting. Have Rosa Mystica, which is like another name for Mother Mary. So this is dedication. I open my heart to abiding love. Very purifying full moon coming up for you, pile 1. Yeah, with the healing as well, dedication. It's almost like congratulating yourself on on reaching here in the way you did, even if some of it was hard or challenging, or you felt you did something wrong. This is about appreciation for self, for sure. All right, and you also have the Stargate heart with heart chakra opening, unlocking generosity. Oh yeah, a lot of really good vibe energy cards, especially with these two, with this heart to abiding love and then Stargate heart. It's like all centered around your heart chakra and also your soul, like your I guess you would call it like your identification center. It's really hard to kind of word that, but what I'm thinking about, it's like your who you are, like who you are and who you want to be and who you're what life you're living, that kind of thing. It really does feel like what's fulfilling, what's not. Let's start to shift some of that. What was a dream and what's not. It's funny because while Pisces is about dreamy kind of, you know, intuitive energy, it's also there's also an aspect of what is it, like snapping back into reality kind of thing. There's like a switch between. It's almost like, you know, we have Virgo and Pisces, and there's like a middle ground and a marrying of the two in a sense. Just because they're opposites doesn't mean they don't have a connection or a relationship or can work together. It's almost like the great in this kind of context of where we are in the zodiac. Okay, interesting. So let's take a look at your tarot cards. So you have the Hermit card with contemplative solitude. Yeah, if you wanted time to dedicate to what you... It feels like almost going within to understand what you want. That's what the Hermit is. But like all these cards, it's like, what do I want to heal? What am I not getting in my life? And how do I work towards that? What am I doing that's constantly stopping me from doing that? Like, what is it? At a true level, not just at a surface level. There'll be surface level, but dive deeper. Like with the Scorpio card, deeper, deeper, deeper. What's actually really important in my life? Is it something that I've been told is important from childhood? But do I align with that? It's really digging deep. You also have the Garden with the 9 of Earth Guardians. It's interesting because it's like finding your own slice of heaven on earth. This is opulence. This is the 9 of Pentacles in a traditional sense. But I love that it's like the garden. It's like it's abundance, right? But it's also enjoyment and just seeing life live life. Like it's almost like, why are you making life so hard? Kind of a feeling. Not saying you are, but that's kind of the general energy that's trying to come out. It's like, find your slice of heaven by going within and understanding what that is, what will make you happy, and even if you know what it is, dig deeper as to why. What's the feelings around it? What does it make? How does it make me feel when I have this kind of thing? Because physical things, they can bring happiness, right? But they generally do it for a short term. Our happiness is something that we feel fulfilled inside ourselves with. So garden, finding your own kind of like Garden of Eden on earth as well. Slice of heaven, if you want to say. You have to go into the truth kind of heart level. And even though this is kind of like a very light blue lace agate, blue lace agate also has like an aspect of communication, so being honest communication with yourself and others, like, but you have to know what that is inside you before you can ask of others or work with others towards that goal. You know what I mean? Like we have to know what that is first. And even here she's kind of like very big focus on like the green heart chakra. A lot of purifying. Okay. You also have temperance. I love that. Co-create with this energy of the blue super full moon in Pisces. It's like this aspect to co-create. If you want to see something transform, you know, it doesn't mean that it's going to on that day, but if you put the I guess the idea out there and see what the first step is and take that first step, then you're already on your way towards what you're wanting. Okay. Wow, and you've also got the Nine of Pentacles again. So there's definitely a time of contemplation and a time of understanding. And, you know, sometimes we can get a lot of stuff of what we want. And then we're like, well, then why don't I feel X, Y, Z anymore? I've got everything I kind of wanted. So then we just go, well, I must want more, right? There must be more, something else. And I think that's why it's really important to go within to understand what's the feelings I'm chasing, what I'm wanting. How do I move towards that? And am I actually enjoying the steps towards that? Because that's where all the learning is. It's not generally the end result. It can be, right? Like if we're working towards a wedding, right, and we get the wedding, that can be like the big celebration, the big thing. But there's so much learning about ourselves and this other person, let's say, or all these other people we were dating before we got to the right person to get to the goal. The whole learning path was really where everything, all the growth was, not just the getting the end result. So I think this is really where this is coming through, and it's like living your best life or sharing that abundance or what you have with others in your family or who you want to share it with, right? It doesn't have to be family, it could be whatever. Sharing your time, like if you have time to do charity work or whatever that is. It doesn't really say that in here, but it just feels like, what is it? What is the feeling you want to feel? That's really important. What's coming up into my mind is a story this I heard on like a podcast or something, and they did an experiment with people where they gave them $100, two groups. One group had to buy what they want; they could buy whatever they wanted for themselves, and the other group had to give it away. And after, you know, some time or whatever it was, they asked them like how they felt, and the people that got their own, that bought what they wanted with it, didn't really feel that much better than, they actually felt kind of like, I guess, quote unquote, worse or less than the people that gave it away, and felt like, you know, supportive, encouraging, compassionate. So it's really interesting. Sometimes we think because we've grown up in a world where material is so important to us, right? We need this, and that'll make us happy. If that was true, every single billionaire, millionaire would be happy because they can pretty much buy and get whatever they want. To an extent, right? But that's not always the case. So what is the full moon in Pisces bringing to you? Well, I love that you've got Pisces coming through in the sun. It feels like shining a light on like truth and what's actually going to bring in this good vibe energy, and what you're still holding on to that may still feel good, like it may look good on paper, but it may not actually be what is your soul calling or heart kind of vibe towards, if that makes sense. What's really soulfully calling. But there's an opportunity to go within and deep. There's these two sleeping, like the sleeping bear, the hibernating bear. I love that because you can see all the fish that he's eaten, so that he's, or she, whoever, is able to rest during the colder months, right? So they've got everything they needed. And maybe that's where you're at. You're like, maybe I've got what I needed or wanted in some aspects, or now you're starting to question, what is it truly that I want or need, or how I want to leave this world, or, you know, whatever. It can be like as far forward or as far back or whatever as you want it to be. And generally, like just personally, I don't usually like to think too much on the past or future. I like to stay present. But that's not always realistic, right? That we need to deal with some of the stuff that was from the past. Sometimes we do have certain things we can plan for the future, but like I said, how we get there is what's happening in each moment, as long as we're still stepping towards that goal and we know that that's what's going to bring us peace, compassion, love, whatever, towards ourselves and others, then to go forward with that. But you've got a lot of time with this to understand what fulfillment really is. I think this is an understanding because this almost feels like reverse. It's like getting what you thought you wanted, but it's like be careful what you wish for kind of information. There's like fulfillment through challenge. It's like dating someone you always wanted to date, right? And then you realize, oh, this is not for me. But you got your wish, you got your fulfillment, but it's just not exactly what it is. So it's like understanding this card is really important in this moment. So you know what is right to release and what you really want to work towards. So kind of, I guess, a blessed time to really shine a light on truth in the life. You've got your heart chakra opening, unlocking. I like unlocking because, especially here with the Scorpio, it's transformative. This is a good time. This is good energy. And, you know, if you're on the path of like working towards what you're doing now, make sure you do celebrate yourself and congratulate yourself, no matter what, actually, no matter where you are. Be grateful for what you've done and what maybe even others have helped you towards even learn, even some of the horrible stuff, right? Not, you know, it's hard to, I'm not saying you have to, it's not easy sometimes to be grateful for some of the challenging things you've gone through, but they can be the biggest learning opportunities, I guess. They taught you some, I guess, big lessons, maybe not in the best way, but regardless, we can't change what's happened, so we may as well take what we can from that opportunity and process it and leave it or release it or take it, you know, whatever aspects. We don't have to take the whole thing and live with it and be burdened by it, but we can take what, I guess, whatever good that had, even if it's going great. Now I know what I do not want and what I never want to go through or feel again. Okay, so this feels really big. This is like almost planning or dreaming about your future and what you want and what is going to bring you peace, happiness, fulfillment, and also finding your own slice of heaven on earth in a sense. This is a big transformative time with this little frog and the Scorpio. There's like a lot of water here, which is not surprising, being that it's a full moon in a very watery sign. If anything, you would go with Pisces being water of water. So it's really interesting. There's also this little bird here. It's going to be, you've got time, but then once the bird starts chirping, there's like, you know when it's time to start making the steps towards that goal. But really truly understanding as best you can, right? You don't have to be purely 100% knowing what everything that goes on in your mind, but even a small part of it and getting that small piece is like a boon or a blessing. Okay, so that's exactly what I see in your reading today, pile number 1. So thank you very much for being here. I really hope you've enjoyed this reading. Feel free to make a comment if you have any questions. Otherwise, take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next reading. Hello, pile number 2. So today you have chosen the first house with self, body, and presence. It's also lighting up Aries, as this is the, I guess, accustomed house to Aries. I'm not too sure. Not a huge knower, I guess, when it comes to astrology, but I do look at it. I try to like understand and watch different web series and podcasts and stuff like that on YouTube about it, just to get an idea. But you've also chosen the Adventurine, so very nice. This is definitely personal and private because this feels like success, and for some reason the Adventurine always makes me think of like adventure, literally adventure. And you know, I'd be surprised if people didn't really pick that up. But it, you know, with self, body, and presence, it's definitely about improving or uplifting your current life. That's generally how it's kind of coming through. It's like uplifting or improving your current circumstance, situation, life. All right, so we're going to start off with these cards here. So your first card is, oh, you've also got another house. You've got the third house with communication, transportation, and local community. Also lighting up Gemini. Okay, interesting. And you also have Taurus here with tactile, grounded, and stable. Interesting. Now I'm kind of getting a feeling with the third house. There might be, I don't know if it's a feeling or something that doesn't really click in. So it's like, this is just an example, but it's like having, working on yourself, but still worrying about what other people are thinking about you, or maybe worrying about not being there for friends and family. And so there's like this worry, or like, am I making? Am I still doing everything that I need to for people? Am I worrying about what other people think about me? And that's detracting from your own kind of self, and it's distracting from your own appreciation, comfort. But then Taurus also coming through is like, this is a good time to release a lot of that. This is what this full moons are about, release, right? And it being so strong and also rare, let's say, with being a blue moon, um, there's a lot of energy around thoughts and feelings, maybe external to yourself, like other people's thoughts about you. Before I get too far into it, I'll pull all the cards. So you also have St. Anthony with Reclaim. Yep. Empowering yourself, reclaiming your power for sure. You also have Potential. This is really nice because sometimes potential can be like a loaded word, right? It can be kind of like a stressful thing. It's like, oh, you have so much potential. You have so much potential, at school. Well, blah blah blah. Little Michael, little Nancy, whatever, had so much potential in this. Like they have so much potential, and it's just heavy. But this one feels like, what is this for you? What do you potentially want to put your energy or power into? What is it? Because reclaiming is about you. This is definitely about you. There's obviously people still involved, but this is about you. And it should be about you for this particular, well, for now and forever, but also this is what the full moon is really coming at you with. So you've also got number 13 here with Mother Ganges, Liberation. I honor my sacred temple. This is all about not letting other people's ideas of who you should be or what you are to be like, it's nice to have people's ideas, right? But if people are telling you always what to do and then you kind of go along with it because of peer pressure, or just like, oh, maybe this is the right way, maybe I'm doubting myself. So then you end up doubting your intuition, right? Where you could have been and it didn't work out. Maybe it works out for like 70% of people, but you're not everybody. So there is this like honoring your own self. And Sacred Temple does feel like, the people back in the day, I don't know if they still say it, treat your body like a temple. It's almost like yourself, like you liberate yourself from your own ideals or from what you perceive other people to be putting on you. Because what you perceive is pretty much how you feel in the now, right? Even if it's not happening in truth or whatever, if it's how you feel, then it is happening in that kind of sense. Okay, cool. So you also have the crown chakra upgrade with divine connection, holy experiences, and miraculous energy. This is a real good time for you, Paltu. Like a really good time to start reclaiming power and not buying into. It's almost like not buying into the drama of the world, even like the world's drama, the what's happening around you drama, even sometimes your own drama that we have. It's to get back to like a solid, stable, grounded position by releasing a whole bunch, like a whole lot of stuff. It feels like a bits and pieces from everywhere, right? All over the expansive self that you are in different areas, so that you can start reigniting whatever that is within you. It's individual and it's personal. Okay. So I'm going to pull some more cards. Oh, I love this. You've got the Naga of the Golden Lotus. Naga is like a snake Spirit, I think it's in Hinduism or it could be in like from Sanskrit. I can't remember exactly. But anyway, we've got this is the Empress card. Really, really pretty, beautiful card too. So of course, Empress is about birth and creation. It's also about looking after yourself and others. So by looking after yourself, you are looking after others. It's just how it works. It truly, truly is. We're at our best when we're at our best for others when we're at our best. That's pretty much how it feels with this one. So make sure you're looking after yourself so you can create what will bring not just you abundance and happiness, but your family, the people around you, your community. Yeah, third house with communication as well. Speak it. Speak that truth. You also have the desert with 4 of Earth Guardians. This is the 4 of Pentacles, which is super interesting. I haven't pulled this one before, but really pretty card. The 4 of Earth is an interesting one because this is like sometimes it can kind of feel like it can feel like has like a fancy vibe or an opulence kind of vibe or a higher class kind of vibe, and I think it's like being realistic at a sense as well. It's like, what should I put my money into, or where should I put my energy rather than just money, but like energy into my time, into there's like a contemplative aspect of this, especially if you're in like, let's say you're in a really good place, then that's a good time to really think, okay, what's going to bring goodness into me and to others around me. It almost sounds like my mantra I say every morning, even if I'm half asleep waking up. I'll say, Divine Spirit within me, move me in the direction of my highest good this day and make me aware of every opportunity to bring good energy to those around me. It's literally what I say every day. It feels like that, like clearly a selfless person, we have to make sure we're looking after ourselves as well. Also at the Knight of Pentacles, yeah, this is coming through with a very grounded kind of from a ground level up, from like a human material aspect up. And then we have the King of Wands. I love this, especially with the Knight, because this is giving you time to plan. Even with the 4 of Pentacles, it's like from a practical, realistic perspective, which is funny because we're in the Pisces full moon, right? And so Pisces is that dreamer, but this still feels like reclaiming, getting your own kind of energy in, because you are getting given this gift of knowledge, like let's say opportunities, right? Opportunities. How they come through, we never know. They can come through kind of silly or interestingly, or just like completely unexpected. It's like, I really needed this. And then the next day you kind of get like an opportunity to get it, right? And it's like, that is wild. How did that happen? But I love that the King of Wands is your final card, because there's like a bit of release and transformation with the snake here. There's like shedding the skin and the snake here, even though it's ethereal. It's like, this is the earthly snake. This is the like ethereal snake, if you want to call it that, or like the higher realm snake. So it's letting that free. And he's also rising up. Funny enough, it looks like he's rising up out of the earth. It's like a golden lotus, right? But it's like rising up out of the earth through the water and out into the light. So there's definitely some deep contemplation, I guess, or deep information within you that needs to be tapped into. This crown chakra is almost like awakening that, or has like the hints and tips to like go deep within. And then getting back to this eventually, the King of Wands is really that fiery kind of energy to do what you're called to, that you're passionate about, that you're interested in. After you reclaim your power and see what is most important to you and what feelings you want to feel within your life too, because while you're here to serve and help others, you are also here to serve and help yourself as well. And this feels like individuality and being your true self, your true self. And that's after knowing who that is and what that looks like, really. And then working towards that the opportunity to express yourself as like deeply and as truly as you can. So a really interesting one here. It really touches on, like, firstly, I feel focusing on who you are and like what kind of external influences you're taking on, how you feel about yourself as well. This is really just the first card kind of touches on remembering to like love yourself and appreciate yourself, and your body. We put our bodies through a lot, really. A lot of challenges, like a lot of work, a lot of potential danger, right? Like, our bodies are here to really work with us as well. So appreciating like everything it does for you, and just saying that you love yourself in the mirror is kind of like an interesting thing. It's like an interesting challenge, right? Can you do that? Even if some people think it's silly, just look in the mirror and say it 3 times and see how you feel. Just try it. It'll take you 2 seconds, 2 or 3 seconds, right? Even if you go in an attitude of like, still just try it. See how you feel. See how it makes you feel. So I think that's how you can get freedom in the next coming after the full moon, during the full moon. It opens up the doors for sure. Okay, that's exactly what I see. So again, I just want to say potential and miraculous energy. It's like this is a good vibe reading. Like this is good energy. It just takes some self-reflection, I guess, a little bit. Like just looking, just not judging, just looking. Okay. Thank you very much for getting a reading today, pile number 2. Hopefully you've enjoyed. If you have any questions, feel free to pop a message down below in the comments section. I will answer it. Otherwise, take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next reading. Hello, pile number 3. Welcome to your reading. So you've chosen today the waxing gibbous moon with nurturing, patience, and refinement. And you've also picked the amethyst, which is, this one is the phantom amethyst. Almost lost that one. Phantom amethyst. So really interesting, especially with patience and refinement, because I always see like phantom amethyst is to help with ascension or all your chakras being activated or switched on. It's like that awakening kind of energy. And here with nurturing, patience, and refinement, maybe this is a good time to release some of the last minute dregs or things that you are wanting to release, so you can kind of, let's say, level up. And not an ego level up, it's really to, I guess, experience things as they truly are. Okay, so let's take a look at your cards. So you've got the 6th house with work, service, and health. Okay. You also have Cancer with nurturing, sensitive, and caring. Really interesting with another water sign coming out. This is well, in the picker pile there was Pisces came out, also Scorpio's come out, and now Cancer's come out. So all the water signs have come out. So really interesting. Only one other one has. Okay, so let's take a look at these cards. This is the only pile that had a blue. This is the Mystics and Saints and Mystics cards. And the blue ones are Mystics, the Saints are the brown cards. So you have Michael or Michel de Nostradamus. So this is premonition. This is Nostradamus, as it's probably more commonly known as. Super interesting with this card. This one hasn't popped out for me before, but I just love it. It's also number 33, if you like little angel numbers. Speaking of, the little feather with angel numbers. You have some oh my goodness, simplicity. I got there. Simplicity, right. It's always funny sometimes the taking a break and looking at something, let's say, for example, we're working on something really intently and we're putting our energy into it, and then we can't figure out the problem, and then we take a 5-minute break for our brain to like chill, and then we go back to it and we figure it out, and it's like it was so easy. You know, that's how this is kind of coming through. Interesting that it's premonitions with simplicity. It's like finding an easier way to understand the world or understand yourself. There's something there. Understand what you're doing in the world. It's like something clicks and you're like, oh, why do we do this? Why is it like this? What am I doing? Why do I do this work? Why do I work for these people? Why do I do this to myself? Why am I like with this person? You know, so many different things. I feel like something's coming up, which might be a bit of a transformative time for you. This super blue full moon in Pisces. Yeah, fear. This is nice. Renewal, refreshed with the light of love. If there's anything you want to release during this full moon, which is what full moons are generally seen as, then this is the time. Stuff that is not healthy, not working, doesn't feel right. You know, plan it out or think about it. What are the consequences of doing this? But don't limit yourself. Like, it's almost like just do it. Like, you got to do what's right for you and everyone involved. What's caring towards yourself and others. There's obviously a play on this with work, but it doesn't like work shouldn't have to limit you, or the world shouldn't have to limit you. There's always going to be some kind of like limitations, or I wouldn't want to say limitations. I want to say steps to reach the goal. Right? There's steps to reach the goal. It's not like you snap your fingers and the goal's done. It takes maybe many years, a lot of time. But that's okay. It's better if you're working towards something you feel that feels true to you, that feels like a calling, than to do something that's not. Just because it's easier or safe. Okay, so we also have the halls of learning with spirit guides, confirmation, and great lessons. Yeah, this is. Oh, it's interesting. It almost feels like it's like, don't worry, it's not hard, but whether you do it or not is like up to you. But it feels like coming to a crossroads, and it's like it takes only a small kind of step to go left, but you've been going right the whole time, and it's like, but left has something that I want to check out. And it feels I'm called to it, right? I'm not saying like a good or bad path, it's just like a different kind of way of living. One can be you can be super comfortable with, and the other has like you know, opportunities and something exciting, something like delicious in life, I want to say. That brings this back, brings like a refreshment back to your relationships, or to your life, or to your work, or to who you are. You know, just it's almost like just living life. Okay. Ooh, what a trippy card. I haven't pulled this one. This is the Sun card, so it says infinite life force. Yeah, it's almost like saying you have so many lives that you've lived and can live, so why not live them, you know, truly and fully? Doesn't mean you have to do what someone else is doing. I have a friend who goes all over the country, all over the world. She travels, she's like she meets so many different people, she's like dealing with so many different things. She's doing so many different jobs, like she's a nomad at heart for sure. Now that is not for me, but I can still live fully, right, in the way that I do by doing what's self-honoring and helps and serves others around me as well. I love the Sun card in this one. This is wild. Like the heads there, like the mind, how much the mind really plays a part. But this is a good opportunity. It's such a good opportunity. It's almost like your guides are guiding you to the something. It's like, come on, you can do this. You can take this step. Obviously up to you, but this is a really good time. You also have Snow with 5 of Earth Guardians. Now this one's an interesting one because this plays off the 5 of Pentacles, right? So how are you truly feeling about this? Do you feel like you're not connecting, fitting in? Like you're not doing, it's like helping, let's say you're helping people, right? Let's say you're a psychiatrist, but there's just something else that's missing with work. This is just an example, but with work, there might be like more that you can kind of assist with, like opening up the doors to something, like a particular area of that, or learning like hypnosis, or I don't know. I don't know. I'm not a psychiatrist. I don't know why I brought it up. But like, just more expansive, I guess. There's so much opportunity to, so you don't feel like you're limiting yourself or feel limited by others. Okay. So you've got the Ten of Cups coming through. Love that. Ten of Cups with the Sun. This is like a huge, joyful opportunity. This blue full moon, even I don't even think even if you do nothing, like when I say nothing, you don't have to do like a ritual or even consider it or think about like what to release, what to bring in. Nothing like that. Even if you don't do that, I think that will be, up to you as an individual what you do. But even if you don't, I think there's just like a very clear opportunity to bring happiness and fulfillment in your life soon after the full moon. It's like naturally you'll start releasing something without even focusing on it. And it might turn into questioning of like, am I actually living the life that I deserve or want or feel? We've got the Four of Wands. Again, success, celebrations, milestones being reached. It's such a lovely reading. This premonitions kind of feels like planning, right? What you've envisioned. Maybe you've been getting dreams and stuff like that about maybe you've just been having weird dreams, right? Pisces is kind of like the space cadet sometimes. Doesn't mean that they're always like that. I mean, I'm a Pisces moon, so I can kind of get it. There's like a practical side, and then there's also like the off in their own world kind of thing. But that's what we need. We need those people that think big and dream big. And it doesn't mean they have to invent something big. It's just like even just living your life the way you want to live it. That as long as it's not hurting others or anything like that, that's a huge plus, boon, benefit, that kind of thing. It's almost like the veil's opening up to you during this time to show you your opportunities, I want to say. So there's a lot here. I think I kind of want to sum it up with this is an opportunity to cleanse and refresh. Do what really is calling to you. The moon, even though it doesn't really illuminate a lot generally, the sun is really shining the light on maybe your situation, your life, that kind of thing. What aspects of it do you want to shift and change and improve? Because we get kind of bogged down as like, oh, we have to stay here because then I'll lose, I won't get pension or this, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, I would rather just live a good life right now than worry about what could happen when I'm like, 60, 70, 80 or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, I get it. I do. It's good planning. But what about right now? What about right now? Just question it. Just ask it. You're not being told what to do. You're just being guided to an opportunity which brings blessings and success and fulfillment and celebration, like happiness, milestones being reached, that kind of thing. And away from things that are maybe just not quite right. Doesn't mean you have to blow up your life, but questioning it is a good start. And you picked the Phantom Amethyst, which is awakening. It feels like awakening or ascending, or like an offering of like full knowing, feeling, sensing, tasting, touching, imagining, thinking, feeling, loving, like all of it. Like it's a great time. So really interesting time. Obviously, I keep talking about it, but I love that this is confirmation. Like, one, always take readings with a grain of salt. I don't know your personal lives and what you're going through, but this just feels like a great opportunity to make headway or reach milestones in what's really going to bring you fulfillment and joy and happiness. Because even if it doesn't necessarily quote unquote work out, there's going to be some kind of blessing and opportunity and growth in that area of life, and then you might you know, think about what to do from here and then go on a new path, right? But you wouldn't have done that if you were continually going this way. So if the opportunities feel right, take them, I say. And that's what I see in your reading pile number 3. So thank you so much for being here. Hopefully you've enjoyed. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next reading. Hello, pile number 4. Welcome to your reading today. So let's take a look at what this blue super full moon in Pisces has for you. So what opportunities, what kind of things can you focus on? So you've chosen the Sodalite, and you've also chosen the moon void, of course, with disconnect, withdrawal, and reception. Interesting card to come through, and also even with the Sodalite coming through, because it was the kind of like the darkest card, right? Sorry, not darkest card, the darkest crystal that was put down. These were predetermined, like I put the crystals down before I flipped the cards, so I had no idea what was going to pop out. All right, let's get into the reading. But the rest were kind of light or transparent, and this one's quite deep blue. Alright, so you also have the waning crescent moon with surrender, restoration, and trust. Yeah, there's a lot of, I guess, starting to clear out, like cleaning out the closet kind of energy from this. You also had 4 of these. This pile had more. You also got fire with radiant, enthusiastic, and dynamic. Yeah, this is definitely a good time. It's not just all like disconnect, withdrawal, release, that kind of thing. There's purpose to this. It's to reignite the fire. It's kind of like, you know how you don't start a fire with a huge log. You start with kindling and it builds up, and then you chuck a big log on and it can still burn it out. You got to like clean out the house before you can see what's going on with the walls, the floors, that kind of thing. And you also have the second house with finance, value, and possessions. Yeah, this could be a way of seeing the world. That's interesting. I don't think we have space here. If you can't see it, it's pretty dark today, so I probably can't see everything anyway. That's why unfortunately the room that I'm in, the light's not very strong, and the sun's kind of setting at the moment, so it'll come up a little bit blurry. You also have Saint Valentine with divine love. Okay. You also have truth. While I was flipping this, it was just blatantly staring at me with the waning crescent moon with trust. And it's like trust and truth. Trust in the truth that's coming through to you. Trust in your intuition, not your ego. Trust in like what's actually happening and also what you're feeling. Yeah, interesting. Ooh, okay, so you got Blue Tara coming through with preservation. Yeah, preservation. I overcome all obstacles. This is definitely a good time to let go of some of the hard stuff from the past for sure. With disconnect and surrender, it's like surrendering isn't like waving the white flag. It's literally like releasing the need to try to control many aspects of your life which are uncontrollable. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we do have control in a sense of how we respond to someone. We can be influenced, right? If they're like saying horrible things to us, it might trigger us to say something horrible back. But we still control that. It's not like, well, I just, let it happen. But surrender is really, really about surrendering the need to have to control something and just letting it flow through. Like, I have an idea of how I might want to reach my goal A. And if I try to strictly keep it on that path, if something just sidelines it or pushes it over, then, I'm going to be completely out of balance. But if I just let it go, like, I'm working towards this, I'll get there in my way, and I'll just, like, you might have, like, stopped here for a moment, the thing might have just passed, and then you just went there and you got there. You know what I mean? Or maybe you were hit by whatever sidelined you and be like, okay, well, now I have to deal with this because this is in my present. And then once you're done with it, you keep walking towards your goal. Because some people's tower moments are other people's, like, nothing. They don't even notice it. It might be a tower for them, but they just don't see it as that because they're in the flow of life, I want to say. But this one's showing like a lot of obstacles overcoming. It's interesting with St. Valentine's because this might have been something that really is close to your heart, or the releasing is from like relationships, exes, parents, horrible people in life, or challenging people, I should say, not horrible, but challenging aspects of life. You also have the Order of Melchizedek with Embrace by Light. Missions uncover and don't give up. I love that. Don't give up. Appreciate the hard work you're doing too. Like, give yourself credit and props, I guess is the right way to say it. Ooh, I love that card. This is the Sage of Portals, which is the King of Cups. This is the Great Central Sun. It also feels similar to like Energy of the Sun card, right? Bringing in happiness, finding your, I guess when people go through hard emotional things, they either go two ways, right? If they don't process or deal with like the challenges or the trauma or whatever that is, and I'm not saying it's easy, like just get over it, but like if you don't process or acknowledge it or deal with it, your King of Cups can look like emotional blocks, emotional barriers, emotional walls. And if it's processed, that's the biggest, like in, as healthy as you can way, they can be the biggest, I guess, opportunities to have emotional growth and emotional maturity, because it might have been challenging, but you were able to turn that into something more empowering. You didn't let your circumstances take you out of the game, let's say. So I think this, I overcome all obstacles. You've overcome a lot in your life, for sure. For sure. Ooh. Just more portals. You're getting all the portals. So you've got the geometric coherence, which is the Three of Portals, also the Three of Cups. I like this one because the coherence kind of feels like just flowing with life. It's like you flowing with life within you and also being able to flow with life. I don't know if this is now or coming up, depending on how you work with this full moon energy, or how you let it go along with the release of some of this old stuff, especially around your heart. Obviously up to you. There's still a lot of emotions and energy in this. The truth, like the truth being revealed, acknowledging what's happened. And I think it's kind of like, how the first step to many addictions is to acknowledge that you have an addiction. I think this is like, acknowledge that things were hard, or that this kind of tragic thing happened, or this person did hurt you, or, even acknowledging I no longer want this energy to be clouding my judgment or hanging over me or something like that. It's obviously dependent on each situation and how you're feeling, but you deserve this fire energy, this radiant excitement back into life and love and to yourself. So you've got the Seven of Cups, many opportunities here, many things to release too. Doesn't mean you have to do them all at once, but just, thinking about what you want to release. I know full moons, it's like easy to say, well, it's about release, but for your reading, it really does feel like that. It's time to overcome certain things. And maybe you're a person who wants to do them all at once. Maybe you just want to do a few. Maybe you just want to do one at a time. Or maybe you just want to acknowledge it first. And that is still a step in the direction of growth and improvement in life. Yeah, I love this. And then you got the Star card, number 17. I love this Star card. I like this card too, because it just feels really magical and etheric instead of like, the traditional one. It's just, it has poppies in the background, which are like dreamy kind of energy. The Star card is really beautiful because it's bringing back hope into your life, so you can kind of see yourself as the inner god, goddess, whatever you want to say, energy within you. See that within you, because you do have it. So it's reminding you of of your, that you're not a victim of circumstance or what's happened in your life. You're switching that into empowerment and showing how strong you really are, because obviously you are, right? You've overcome many things. And sometimes we get like that, we think, oh, this will be scary. But then we look back, if we like be honest and look back, it's like we've overcome so much crazy stuff. This is nothing. This is just going into a supermarket and grabbing something, or talking to my partner about something that I feel is really important to me. You know, whatever it is, it's like that. But I think it reawakens the hope for love in your heart. Divine love isn't just about romance or like, you know, feelings. It's really about the energetical properties or purpose or like energy of love, like the love that propels us through life, doing what we love, loving ourselves, loving others, like really more expansive than maybe it's kind of been portrayed on like Valentine's Day and that kind of stuff. Okay. It's interesting here with the second house coming through. Now possessions, especially with Taurus, because Taurus is like, you know, creature comforts, that kind of thing, doing something that just gives us like, you know, quick, nice things. And I think the possessions, like, oh, I'll buy this because that'll make me happy. And it does for like a couple of weeks, right? Or, you know, if you get a new phone, it can help for a while, but that feeling generally fades away. So you have to keep consuming, and that works really well in like I guess this planet in a way. But value, what value, like what's more important, I guess, is really about really where this is coming from. What are you putting more value into than it's really worth? What are you putting not enough value in that you should be, or that you really want to? Because this is all your choice, not anyone's telling you what that is. But I think if you come from a place of truth and clarity, then you get to see what's actually real and what's something that is just old traditions, dogma, expectations. You know, it's just silly things that we decide has value but really doesn't. So yeah, lots of choices this particular full moon in Pisces, or super blue full moon in Pisces. Lots of stuff. Truth and trust. I feel like that's just another thing to talk about. But breaking away from old expectations, even on ourselves, if they don't fit our current reality or our truth now, is really important. So what I would ask yourself, what can you do for yourself that feels correct? Or where do you want to be? Not really where you want to be, but what do you feel right now would be best for you? I think that's a good place to start. What have you gone through that's really helped you grow, even if it has been horrible? In what area or aspect that feels like a cloud can you release? You know what I mean? That kind of thing. So you deserve to feel vibrant and alive and be hopeful of working towards what will bring you fulfillment, I guess, is really how this is coming through. With so many cups, right? Portal, cups, and star. Okay. That's exactly what I see in your reading today, pile number 4. Thank you so much for being here. Really hope you've enjoyed. If you have, give me a thumbs up. Have a look down in the comment section. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I can elaborate or talk about a card if you wanted some more information. Other than that, take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next reading.